You know, the public schools today have a huge challenge. And I've got an idea of what we can do to help. And that is send Christian substitutes into the classrooms. And with boldness that comes with a broken heart for the lost and a love. Perfect love casts out fear. So I had a little experience that helped me develop this idea. And it started with my own experience, substitute teaching, at a time when I prayed for God to break my heart for the lost. Please, God, break my heart for the lost. Stop me from caring so much about me, and let me care more about them. And I saw the kids and their behavior and how they needed to know God. They needed to know how much God loved them and let Him transform their lives. And the first thing that happened is a high school student hung behind after class and shared with me that she was not wanting to live anymore. And how can you listen to somebody who's in that kind of despair and not offer the answer? And you sit there knowing the answer. And so I privately and quietly shared with her that my family needed the money from the job of being a substitute. And that I knew what I could say to help her, but she would have to promise not to tell anybody. And she said, "Oh, I promise." She was so desperate for an answer to her despair. And you know how sometimes after you've had a conversation with somebody, you think, "Oh, I should have said this," or "I shouldn't have said that." Well, no such thing. After this conversation was finished, I knew that God had given me the life experiences to speak to this particular girl exactly where she was. And I explained about Jesus and how she could relinquish her sins and just say, take them away, God. I'm so tired of them. And then ask God to fill her up with His love and His Spirit. And so she said she would do that, and she did. She bowed her head, and she prayed so sincerely. I would say a phrase and she would repeat it, but she wasn't just mumbling the words. She really meant it. And when she was finished, she lifted her bowed head and went, "Wow." And her face lit up, and she knew that she belonged to God. Well, that happened on a Friday. And on Sunday, I was out, and we live in the country, and I was out weed eating on my land, and I said to the Lord, I said, "God, I started believing you that you would send me somebody who was lost every day, and here it is 5 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, and I'm not going to go get in the car and drive miles away trying to look for somebody who I can talk to about you." And right then, that very minute, a car stopped at the top of the road, and a young woman got out of the car. "Got any gas?" And I had just bought gas an hour and a half earlier. So I said, "Well, come on down here and bring your boyfriend." And sure enough, I said, I was out here weed eating, saying to God, "Please who am I going to lead to Christ today? I've been believing you that I would be able to introduce you to somebody each and every day, and I haven't done it yet today. And here you run out of gas at the end of my driveway, out here in the boonies. I have to think it's you. And right then and there, that couple prayed, and they received Jesus in their hearts. And so that night I went to bed and I said, God, if you want me to go back into the schools this next week and tell others, you're going to need to speak to me from your word. I need to know. And he led me to 2 Thessalonians. And it was very clear that he wanted me to tell others about him.